Hello, I'm Sophia Jessica, and welcome to the Fan Carpet.
Hi, Grace. You're the writer and producer of Think of the Future, as well as being an actress in it. And it's been nominated for the Best Scene, Best Actress, and Best Director at the Scene Festival. So congratulations about that. And I wanted to know, how does that feel?
Thank you. Yeah, it feels really, really good, actually. This was the very first piece that I've ever written and the very first piece that I've ever directed as well. And to be honest, we didn't really have, it was never really meant to go past kind of a bunch of pals getting together and creating something. So the fact that it's gone on to be accepted into a festival and then to be nominated for 3 different awards is pretty amazing, actually. I'm really chuffed and really delighted that it's gotten that far. So it's been great.
And what could you tell us about the film and how you fit into the story?
Yeah, cool. So basically, the premise of the story is that there has been a rape case has just happened, and the accused in the case has just been let go. There was insufficient evidence, and so the victim is obviously quite distraught about that. And then a couple of hours after the trial, the accused goes missing, and so the FBI agent who has been dealing with the trial has a little hunch from dealing with it that she might know where he is. So she follows her hunch and then discovers that the victim has actually kidnapped him, beaten him up a bit. She finds him unconscious, very bloody and bruised, and the kind of scene unfolds as the FBI agent who I play really tries to diffuse the situation and really tries to empathize with her. And throughout the conversation, you kind of realize that the FBI agent has also got a history in abuse, which is quite heartbreaking, but they kind of form this bond over realizing that. And she finally gets the victim to kind of release the guy, and it's just kind of like a comment on kind of the justice system in general, but then also like, is there any winners or losers in these kind of situations as well? It's just quite heartbreaking. So yeah.
Yes, it was an emotional piece. And what was it for you that made you want to portray this sort of message?
A bunch of things, really, to be honest. I'm a complete crime drama buff. I love a thriller. I love all of that. Always used to watch the CSIs, Criminal Minds, and nowadays there's so many. So I absolutely love those kind of dramas, and I always really wanted to play that kind of role. I guess it's why I kind of wrote it in the first place, because I hadn't had the opportunity to play that role yet in my career. So I really wanted to play that role. And then also, I guess, the kind of inspiration behind kind of the emotional bit and the kind of background of the FBI agent. I had been watching, I don't know if you saw it on Netflix, it's called Tell Me Who I Am. Basically,
Right.
it's kind of about these twins who were both, it's based on a true story. It's really tragic. I'd highly recommend it if you get a chance to watch it. But it's based on these twins who were very badly sexually abused when they were kids. But one of the twins actually has an accident and he loses his memory. Subsequently loses his memory about all of the trauma that's happened to him as well. And one brother remembers, so it's this kind of being cruel to be kind, and he grows up throughout his life not realizing, and then the documentary is when he's finally realizing the truth. So it was just the fact that someone could live with just so much trauma, and I think that really inspired me to how kind of you live with that and what you do with your life to kind of change it around. So yeah.
Oh no, that's great. That was actually my next question, was to ask you about the research you did to get into the mindset of an FBI agent, and what inspired you. So you mentioned you watched this series on Netflix, and then that inspired you. And did you do any sort of research on Google about the mindset of an FBI agent specifically, or was it mostly sort of from other films that you were sort of getting into the character? And
yeah, it's
how did it go?
An accumulation kind of loads of things that I was watching. Yeah, there's another one called what's it called? I can't remember. is it like the Mindhunter on Netflix? Sorry,
right.
it goes back to kind of basically like policing and FBI agents before serial killers were profiled, and like how they kind of like profile them now, and kind of getting into the mindset of more from the criminal side. So that was kind of more of like that, and then kind of just like watching loads of documentaries, also kind of documentaries about the justice system in general. And I think rape cases are one of the highest ones that, unless there's really, really strong evidence, unfortunately, like a lot of rapists can go free, just because it's normally one person's word against another. And so I find that quite interesting as well. And I think it's like, yeah, it's just really, really tough. It's like a really awful thing to happen to someone, and probably because the justice system isn't always on their side, it's quite heartbreaking.
It is. And if we could go back to the beginning of when you wanted to get into the film industry, would you say there was a defining moment, or how did that start for you?
Weirdly, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a vet, actually.
Oh.
I grew up on a farm and always loved animals, so I always wanted to be a vet. But to be honest, the performer side of me was always there. And yeah, I just always liked performing. And then kind of just went to like drama school, drama schools after school and stuff. And then yeah, when I was just deciding what I wanted to do after school, there was really just nothing. I couldn't see myself in kind of, like the office job, or I needed something creative. And I think acting really stood out for me. And yeah, I went and studied acting, and then just really fell in love with it since then. And yeah, never looked back since.
Oh, and do you have a preferred film genre? Do you have any favorite films?
Oh, genre is really hard, actually. Like I said, I do love a drama. I do love something kind of like psychological. Like I remember when Inception came out, and that like really blew my mind. That kind of like psychological, but also you can kind of see that it could potentially happen. So it's that kind of like weird, yeah, like that kind of thing. Or like I love period drama as well, I have to say, like the Downton Abbeys and all of that as well. I really enjoy. But I think just personally as an actor, I want to be really versatile, and I'd love to just be able to have a chance to kind of experience all the genres. A bit of sci-fi as well would be nice. Yeah, I don't think I have a personal favorite, to be honest. I think, yeah,
fair enough.
Genres that I enjoy.
It's good to to watch different types anyway, and to sort of enjoy different genres, and then you're not sort of limiting yourself specifically to one thing. But are there any other aspects of the film industry that you would like to pursue?
So I mean, this scene that I wrote was my very first time, as I said, writing and also directing. Writing is kind of something that's always been like a little bit of a niggle, kind of thinking like maybe I could get into this, but just didn't really know how. I've kind of devised a lot of like theater before, and kind of through ensemble, perhaps kind of written stuff, but never actually sat down with a pen and paper and wrote something, and especially not for film. But to be honest, this was kind of like a bit of a trial run. And during the pandemic, it's been like lots of time to think about other things. And I've been trying a little bit more writing and really enjoying it, actually. I think it's a really nice other creative avenue. So yeah, potentially that. And I think I love being in front of the screen, don't get me wrong, but it's nice to obviously have an understanding, and even just directing this is really great, I think, for actors to have an understanding of what goes on behind the scenes as well. Just that I think you can be grounded, and I think nowadays being kind of a little bit versatile in everything is getting more and more necessary. So yeah, who knows? We'll see.
And you've worked with a great bunch of talent. And do you have a wish list of who you'd like to work with in the future?
Oh my goodness. I mean, Meryl Streep has just like always been top of my list. So I mean, I actually feel like I would love to like maybe play her or something, maybe in a film. Wow. A bit older, but like that's dreamland. But yeah, I would absolutely love to kind of be beside her. That would be amazing. Gosh, I just have like so many. I love Gillian Anderson at the moment, Kate Blanchett, and those are really strong women I aspire to. So there's quite a lot. Yeah.
And is there a book that you're a fan of that you would like to be a part of that hasn't been adapted to film or TV?
Oh, I don't know. Nothing that I've read recently, actually. I can't really think of one offhand, to be honest.
Is that something that, if you read a good book, would you sort of attempt to recreate it, or would you prefer to kind of write your own and do something more original, or you don't mind?
I mean, that's quite advanced for me, I feel like, at this point, especially if it was like a critically acclaimed novel. I definitely don't think I'd have the confidence in my writing just yet, but maybe one day. But yeah, at the moment, my writing's kind of just more like, scenarios and things that I suppose, grab inspiration from books and films and things that I'm watching. But yeah, it's as far as it's gone at the moment.
What's your sort of ultimate dream for you and for your career? Sort of what's the ideal for you?
I mean, just to be able to like be creative all the time. I mean, obviously, at the moment, I'm still kind of doing the odd jobs here and there, and you're trying to get by. But like, to be honest, the ultimate goal is just being able to do what I'm passionate about, and that is acting. Being in the room and being able to be creative and being able to kind of just tell stories. And reason I want to be an actor, and I am an actor, is because I love stories so much, and I love that you can inspire and actually, really help people with story. And I think, even like now in this time, I think people are looking so much to film and to the arts for like this kind of escapism out of like what we're dealing with at the moment. And
yeah.
So, that's kind of like my goal, to be able to like use my creativity and my passion to kind of, inspire other people, or just give them an escapism for 2 hours and make them feel better about themselves. So yeah.
And during this lockdown, have you been trying to keep productive, or are you using this time to relax, or both?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy time, isn't it, for everyone? It's kind of one of those things where like one day I'm kind of loving being in my bubble, and then the next day you kind of realize the gravity of the situation and you go a bit mad. But no, to the most part, yeah, definitely trying to stay busy. Reading. I have a little courtyard, so I'm doing a bit of gardening and trying to keep creative, but also trying to do other things that maybe I enjoy that I haven't really had the time or anything to do before, to kind of keep that pass the time, I guess. Yeah.
Yes. With the movie on set, did you have any behind the scenes moments that are memorable to you while shooting?
I don't know, really. To be honest, it was just all the behind the scenes were just us having like a really good laugh. It was just a lot of fun. We had such a good like crew. And yeah, just all the behind the scenes were just, from what I can remember, were just like a lot of laughing. We did have one point. I was really lucky. The location is actually the garage that I have here.
Oh, that's handy.
Amazing. So we were sorted with locations, so that was brilliant. And we share the garage with like another neighbor as well. So he actually got wind of what we were doing and came in with a bunch of ciders for us. So he was like, "I'm sure what you're doing looks like thirsty work." So he gave us some ciders. So that was quite nice. We were able to enjoy them afterwards. That was a fun moment.
That sounds good. And would you want for Think of the Future to be adapted into a feature-length film one day?
Yeah, I mean, I've never really thought about it, to be honest, until kind of like this festival, and people have kind of been asking me that. And when I wrote it, I obviously had like a massive, like I had the full story in my head, if that made sense. Like maybe not for the future, but definitely for a kind of a short. I knew exactly what had happened before and what would happen afterwards. So yeah, it's been coming into my mind. It might be a nice short, or potentially even a feature film as well. I definitely think there's potential there and a really good story there. So it could be good.
And you're Irish, but you pulled off a great American accent. How did you prepare for that?
Thank you. So yeah, I just kind of, again, like being Irish and, well, being any actor, I guess you just have to be quite versatile in your accents. And so it was, again, just something that I was working on and tying in with wanting to play a role, like as an FBI agent or a detective. I really wanted to kind of play a role with an American accent as well, because it was something that I haven't done yet. So yeah, just did a bit of prep on that. I watched kind of a lot of like tutorials online. And then obviously, which was amazing, when I knew I wanted to do it in an American accent and said it there, Norma, the amazing actress who is opposite me, she's actually from the States, from New York. So that was really great. So she was able to kind of work with me and kind of pick me up on my Irishisms, as I call them. And so, yeah, it was really nice to work with her as well, and for her to kind of help me with the accent as well.
Oh, that's great. And that leads me on to the question, how did you find your cast?
Yeah, so Norma and myself actually worked in a gym like quite a long time ago, a good few years now. I'm terrible at dates, but a few years ago. And we kind of talked about doing a scene together like way back then. And then kind of lost touch with her, to be honest. But when I wrote this scene, I kind of was like, oh, she's kind of was in my head of like a person I'd love to play against. And we had these conversations. So really, it was kind of like easy enough. I kind of contacted her. She was up for it. So that was really great. And then, yeah, the unconscious man, I kind of roped my other half into that. So he was great. So, yeah, I just looked at all the resources that I had close by. And then that bit I was able to kind of sort. And then I kind of had a script and a cast. And then my expertise of camera are pretty much zero. So that was when I asked AJ, a friend of mine from Dawn Sky Films, amazing, to see if he'd like to help out and help me with everything. And then kind of the rest is history, because he's so amazing and was able to kind of so professionally and amazing handle all the rest and kind of talk me through kind of different shots, and kind of we talked through together then exactly what the vision was and kind of came up with all of that together. So that was really amazing, like such a dream to work with.
That's lovely. And you've been on the set of Game of Thrones. I mean, what was that like?
To be honest, it was really surreal, like very, very overwhelming. I was glad that, to be honest, at that point in my life, I was not that long out of drama school. And in drama school, we did a lot of like theatre. We didn't really do a whole lot of like TV and film. So I had to kind of do a lot of that when I left. And so to be on, a set of that kind of scale was so overwhelming. It was crazy. I mean, so exciting, but really overwhelming. Like everything was huge. Their sets are huge, their costume, and they're just so thorough in everything that they do, even down to kind of like the underwear that you wear has to be authentic. And that was just like crazy, like one of the best experiences ever. I definitely learned a lot. I was just kind of just silently watching, to be honest, all the pros and just like absorbing it all. It was just really, really brilliant experience.
And do you have, lastly, any sort of future projects in mind that either you're working on or you hope to sort of add to the to-do list?
I have some in talks with some people, but nothing's really confirmed just as yet. But there's kind of potential maybe for another feature film coming up. It's obviously no one really knows. There's lots of ideas around, but people are kind of stunted with when they can. And so yeah, a lot of things are kind of on the back burner, but there's definitely some talks happening, some future projects which could be really exciting, but kind of all depends on when we can all kick back and how we will get back to kind of the new normal, if you like.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for your interview, and we look forward to more of your work coming out in the future. Hopefully, the sooner the better with this situation. It's a weird one, but yeah, thank you so much, and take care of yourself.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching The Fan Carpet. Please follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram for more content next time.
on the largest of the Balearic Islands, Mallorca. With the turquoise waters of the Mediterranean Sea, beautiful mountainous landscape, the thriving city of Palma, quaint little market towns, a growing number of luxury hotels, it's no surprise that the likes of Audrey Hepburn and Elizabeth Taylor like to holiday here. So come and join me as I take you round Mallorca.
Thank you for watching The Fan Carpet. If you like this video, be sure to click that thumbs up button at the bottom of your screen. And also be sure to subscribe to the Fan Carpet YouTube channels. They're absolutely free and so much fun too. Be sure to check out the official website, thefancarpet.com. Also, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to stay up to date with reviews, competitions, the latest news, and so much more.